Happy Mini Monday. Today is the Lionsgate poll. 2 years ago, it hit on 7777777. It was my first portal of any kind, like knowingly, right? And I wrote out all these lists. And I wrote all the letters I needed to write, burned them all. I mean, I was just like in full witch mode on my porch. Like I look back, obviously I have pictures, but it took me a while to like look back at some stuff because it's so you go through something like that, so you can see the juxtapositions, but you don't know that at the time. And awakenings are so interesting. Like mine was like shot so far into the future. Not the future, vision line. It also is future though. Current. Future was the first thing I said though, so I'm gonna go with it. Maybe future will just like mash us together. It was 1:44 when I said that. But it's premonitions, clairvoyance, like and I know the difference now between what past life is and premonitions and clairvoyance. I'm of course learning more and more and more every single day. But I pretty much just like ran myself through my own Hogwarts. I've talked about this before, but I am very much on a 2-year cycle, if you will, of really like huge growth periods between April 20th and July 20th, which April 20th was my awakening, July 20th was my diagnosis. And now that I'm 2 years out, my ears, of course, left ear itching. Okay, I got you guys. I love you, but can you stop tickling my ears so I can talk to the camera? This is the problem. Okay, they don't want me to talk about that. Don't know why. Not yet. It's just always a not yet. To have a conversation because they keep tickling my ears, and I'm like, you guys, I can't talk while I'm scratching my ears the whole time. What was that? You guys, the glitches today, I can't, just the strangest things have been happening. Very similar things were happening 2 years ago. Now they're just even louder. And I thought they were loud 2 years ago. And that is why you go through an awakening. I went everything that happened, the whole, sphere of the awakening and the diagnoses and the hermit modes and the healing and the shadow work and the deep dives and the, pull the arrow back, shoot it forward farther every time. I have 2 years of wisdom now, and it feels really fucking wild to say that out loud. I sat on this porch in this exact dress, and I'm gonna post it, and I'll post it at the end. I'm gonna put it on Instagram, but I'll post it at the end of this video. And I was sitting out on my porch. I had like everything move the way I wanted to. I was basically like living outside. And, in and out, and just, it was the first time I started to make my space my space. Okay. Also, every time I look down at the camera, it's lagged, so we'll see what happens. I don't know what the fuck's going on. Squeaking. I don't know what's going on. Okay. I'll be back. If you know, you know. This is like a really, really, really energetically charged day. It's been an energetically charged last week. It's been very eye-opening because so many of the things that I'm seeing now are exactly what threw me into the heightened state of mania that I was in and psychosis, right? You can't even begin to explain. What other option do you have? Like, no one around you knows what the fuck's, like, that was 2 years ago. Yeah. It's like when you don't know that you're having a spiritual emergency yet, really. Like, you don't have these terms. You haven't had all of this time to be able to, all this space to be able to look back and hummingbird, to look back because you've 111, because you've been able to pull back. And the last 2 years have just been walking towards that vision line. And the steps are they're so scary in the beginning, and like you start taking them and you don't even know you're taking them yet, right? Like you have this like gnawing feeling to start dominoing your life. That was my 2021 to 2023. What was that? And that was just the prep work. Like, holy shit. When I first went through my awakening and all I could feel was love. That was it. That was the only thing. It was pure light. And it was the first time I ever felt that. It was the first time I ever felt loved. Truly loved. That's fucking wild. That's fucking wild. And I wanted to stay in that frequency. And I was going to do anything to stay in that frequency. Of course, like the first time you feel completely held by something that is so large, like I can't even say it's so much larger than you, like fucking obviously. We are a speck. It is a miracle that we're here. And then like we have clouds, and we have hummingbirds, we have rainbows, and we have fireflies. And like, I mean, just all of nature, like what? All of nature, all of this beautiful architecture and art. The fuck? You know? And I didn't want to come down from there at all. I was just like, I had a human avatar down here, but I wasn't here. I was way, way, way away. And I would plop in every once in a while type of thing, but being manic is one of the best feelings in the whole wide world. And we're human beings. We were put here to feel the entire spectrum of the human experience, not some flatline version of reality that isn't reality because it's an illusion. Just watch The Matrix. If you know, you know. I start rubbing my hands like this. I'm really working on. I'm just gonna bounce. It's just how I go. So I'm just just trying to stay the truest to like not editing and stuff and just letting it go, because there will be things that I'm talking about, and if God doesn't want me to talk about it, yeah, he'll pluck it right out of my brain. So and it's getting, you know, I'm learning, like that's all you can do, like it's play, you know, and of course it doesn't fucking feel like that all the time, of course not, but when it does feel like play and like you can hold that line as the common thread throughout. 2, 3, 4. I have chills. Like that's it. Like what are the through lines? What are the thread lines? You get to choose the thread that weaves the tapestry of your life. But first, we need to unspool a lot of things. And that is the beginning of the transformation. That is the beginning of changing your mindset. That is the beginning of recoding your system, rewriting the script. You get to decide. You get to decide. You get to decide, I don't want to fucking do this shit anymore, and I'm not fucking going to. And once you start to feel what it feels like to be loved, once you feel the energy, juxtaposition, and difference between people that were in your life before and people that are in your life after, the split. It's a split. I'm so thankful for the split. That fault line. I've never felt more myself every day. Even in the dark, you know. And if you told me in 2020, oh my God, I was broken. I was so broken. But somehow in all of that, I still was like, you know what? I have some really tough decisions I gotta make, and here we fucking go. The dominoes, like I always talk about, you know? But it's like we've all been in this huge collective awakening and shift since 2020 to 2025, and it's just, all of it is perfectly timed. And this past week was just such a beautiful example and expression of that. I am on my 4th hummingbird. I'm just sitting out here. Hummingbirds to me are my grandma Mooney, Iris Mooney, Mooney Monday, get it? Oh my gosh, my ancestors came in so just off fucking rip. In all the ways, in protection, and oh, you thought you were gonna help that person? You're gonna help yourself. And then it's gonna look like destruction, and it's gonna look like fucking hell, and it's gonna feel like it, and all of the things. Oh my God, if it's not a fucking blessing wrapped in disguise every single time. And then you get to the point where you're like, I know, I see why, I see how, I get it now. there have been so many times where I didn't know if I'd ever get to this point of feeling in a way. Then I talk to myself in the mirror a lot, and lately I'm just like, bitch, snap out of it, bro. You fucking know why you were put here. Like, hello, let's fucking go. Lionsgate portal, of course, everything's perfectly timed. But it takes time to heal. It takes time to awaken. It takes time, space. I say, I kind of go same fucking thing. Like, you don't become like Professor Trelawney by, I don't know, going to like the bar. You sit your ass in fucking prayer and devotion, and you let it ride. It's camp, whatever. You let it ride. And you learn that you are a mermaid, and you learn that you can make a fucking boat, and you learn that you can swim, and you learn that you can float, and all of the things. And it gets less scary, and it gets more meaningful, and all you're doing is just getting back to who you were when you were born, which was just pure love. A pretty perfect wrap up, but I do want to add just some more grounded type of things, just to help anyone that's in kind of any of this phase, right? A lot of people have been awakening over the last few years, so there are more and more people out there, and you will attract them into your life. Just be patient and just hold the vision, hold the vision, hold the vision. Hold the knowing inside of yourself. Hold truth inside of yourself, obviously. Well, it's not so obviously. There's nothing wrong if you need to locate a mental health treatment facility or a doctor or a therapist or anyone that you see fit. I will say that even in the craziest times, you are being guided. So really, whatever direction is really laying itself out in front of you, like, just follow it, just listen. Like, no, I didn't think I would ever be walking into Limner, which is the Limner Center of Hope here in Cincinnati, Ohio, and I just got so lucky. So, but this was all absolutely mayhem when it was happening. So, and I will I'll make the next video about that. Yeah, because I want people to know, just have a Hawkeye view of just some different modalities and things, because I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know that coughing. I mean, I knew what was going on, but not like in a human sense. And when you're in that state of being, when you're in that state of mind, you are so far from reality, and it can be really easy to, like, for example, for me, I was like glitching in and out of past lives like crazy, and I couldn't keep track right in the beginning. So I was I mean, if I could have pushed a button and like been churning butter in the 1800s, I would have. Like, I was like, please, the Hollyland magical portal. Like, I just need to be churning butter somewhere. So that's what was going on. And I first started to, I'm going to make one or two more. We'll see how it goes. At certain angles, my bangs made me look like a colonial boy. I'm like, so on brand. So on brand. Also, like, how many times have you watched Hocus Pocus? Anyways, back on track. Grounded resources. Obviously, a mental health treatment facility is a pretty extreme measure. I went in for something called rapid access. Yeah, thank you. Rapid access. And I met with a social worker first. Hold on, let me back up. I filled out intake paperwork, and it was off the charts with mood disorder and anxiety and PTSD. And we met. The whole day took about 5 hours, maybe 4 or 5 hours. I let my parents sit in with me, but this is just whatever. This is just information. I feel fine sharing it. I know it's gonna help somebody. It has to. We sat with a social worker first, then we went to the psychiatrist, and oh man, it was a day, obviously. The psychiatrist was just so amazing. Dr. Rodriguez was his name. And if anyone has ever, I'm an open book and I can connect you with the resources that I had. So he put me on mood stabilizers and anti-anxiety right away. And within, oh my gosh, what is it? I think it was 10 days. Yeah. It's also all a blur. So 10 days later is when I decided to check myself in to stay there, because I, what the fuck is happening? I needed one-on-one care. I needed a team of people. And I needed the people that I was in Lindner with the most. So, and it's where my ancestors sent me to protect me. Okay, obviously, Lindner is an extreme case. However, they have tons of resources, and it's exactly who you should call, especially if you're in Cincinnati, Ohio. Don't go to Beckett Springs. That's all I'm gonna say. Just go to Lindner. Call Lindner. That car, something just moved through me on my left side. Also, NAMI, the National Association for Mental Illness. Oh my God, I hope A is association. I'm pretty sure it is. NAMI is a fabulous resource. I will link both of them wherever the hell. Bumblebee. But NAMI, Lindner and NAMI would be your first go if there's more of a mental health crisis situation going on, which was me. And then also those people can help link you up with different kinds of therapists. So for example, my therapist, her name is Cynthia, and she, of course, perfect angel put in my path. When you leave, you have to have a psychiatrist appointment and a therapist appointment set up. So Cynthia called me the day before I was got out, released, and just my whole left side lit up, and I needed her spirituality. I needed her belief system. I needed her. And she was no other therapist, I've ever been to. I've done many things, but she's exactly who I needed. And she was spiritual because she was so tapped into that, because my social worker, who was incredible, Cynthia was her mentor. So when she went through her awakening, so all of these beautiful pieces were really lining up. And so when I say even in the mayhem, you will start to see and you'll start to feel the sparks. You'll start to be, that's just what happened when you go through. That's what happens when you hit the other side. You're being guided by something and everything that's so much larger than you. So just keep going. Those are the best resources for like an acute situation. And then I will post other resources as well, like people I follow as far as awakening things like star seeds, and because a part of the awakening is going through all of the things, all of the spiritual things, all of this, right? Go into those deep dives. Go into like having your mind blown about Egyptian mythology. We'll call it mythology. History. Like there's a reason you're called to certain places. There's a reason you're called to certain cultures and energies and signs and symbols. It's all, the universe is speaking through everything to you and you back. Co-creation. Going all of the last 2 years, thank God. But if I would have been like, you know what? I am crazy. You know what? Yeah, I am gonna go do that. No. I was like, I know I'm not crazy. I know that this is just an overwhelming amount of things and trauma that is erupting out of me that has been buried for lifetimes and generations. Of course I had to go into a fucking mental hospital. When our mothers don't process trauma and grief and all of the horrible things that happen to them, who gets it? Who then becomes responsible for stopping that shit in the bloodline? Like, there's a reason women are going through this. There's a reason. There's always a reason. And this isn't just for women, but the generational trauma hits real fucking different. And everything you're feeling is valid, and everything you're going through, and all of the parts of an awakening or a diagnosis or whatever it is, all of the parts add up to a sum that's just so much more beautiful than in the moment. I promise. It can be really scary, but trust yourself, you're not crazy. You're just divine, boo. Okay, I'm gonna go cry now.